The huge alien ship hung in the sky above New York City. It was bigger than any building humans had ever made. The ship had been there for 3 months now. People still took pictures of it every day, even though they were scared. Taemin wiped the floor of the Tokyo gym with his mop. The television in the corner showed the news. Again, they talked about the aliens who called themselves the Orcs. "Another Earth fighter lost today," said the news lady. "This is the 5th defeat in a row." Taemin frowned. He was just a simple janitor to most people. He cleaned this gym at night when no one was around, but he watched the fights carefully. The aliens were winning too easily. The Orcs had come to Earth with many ships. They did not attack right away. Instead, they made an offer. They said Earth could join something called the Galactic Combat League. All new planets had to prove they were worthy. They had to fight. If Earth won enough matches, they would get new technology and protection. If they lost, the Orcs would take over Earth. They would use humans as workers on other planets. The choice was simple. Countries around the world sent their best fighters: Olympic champions, special forces soldiers, boxing champions. None of them lasted more than 5 minutes against the Orcs warriors. Taemin turned off his mop water and looked at his hands. They were rough from work but strong. He had calluses that told a different story than just being a janitor. He thought about the monastery in the mountains. He thought about his real training. The next morning, the world leaders met again at the United Nations. The alien ambassador stood before them. He was tall with gray skin that looked like armor. His 6 eyes moved in different directions, seeing everything. "Your fighters are weak," said the ambassador through his translation device. "We expected more from Earth. You have only 2 chances left before we decide your planet's fate." Hanjae, the Korean representative, stood up. "We need more time to prepare our fighters. Your warriors have technology we cannot match." The ambassador made a clicking sound. It was how the Orcs laughed. "Technology is not your problem," he said. "Your bodies are too simple. Your minds are too slow. This is how nature works. The strong rule the weak." Taemin watched this meeting on the small TV in his apartment. He packed a bag while he listened. He took only what he needed: some clothes, a little food, and a small wooden box his master had given him. It was time to return to the mountains. The bus took Taemin as far as the small village of Chunri. From there, he walked. The path up the mountain was steep and hidden. Most people would walk right past it. That was the point. The monastery was not for everyone to find. After 4 hours of climbing, Taemin reached stone steps cut into the mountain. There were exactly 1,000 steps. He had counted them many times as a child. At the top stood wooden gates that looked very old. The gates opened before he reached them. Master Sunwoo stood there. He was old now, over 80 years, but he stood straight and strong. His eyes were clear and sharp. "You have returned," Master Sunwoo said. It was not a question. Taemin bowed low. "Yes, Master. The time has come. You think you are ready to face these aliens? You, who left your training early?" "I left to learn about the world," Taemin said. "But I never stopped practicing the ways of Gyeongboksa." Master Sunwoo studied him for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Come, the others are waiting." Inside the monastery walls, 20 men and women trained in the open courtyard. They moved like water, fast then slow, hard then soft. These were the last masters of Gyeongboksa, the Shadow Warriors. For 15 generations they had trained here in secret. Jin-ho, who had trained with Taemin since childhood, stopped his practice and smiled. "The janitor returns. I told Master you would come back." "The aliens are strong," Taemin said. "But they are proud. They think they know all about humans now." "And they don't?" asked Jin-ho. "They have only seen what we show to the world," Taemin said. "They have not seen what we keep hidden." That night, the masters gathered in the main hall. Candles lit the room. On the walls hung ancient scrolls with the secrets of their art. Master Sunwoo unrolled a new scroll on the table. On it were drawings of the Orcs warriors, Their bodies were mapped in detail, showing weak points that normal people would miss. "How did you get this?" Tamian asked. "We have always had people in important places," the master said. "When the aliens first came, we collected all the information we could." An older woman, Master Hijin, pointed to marks on the alien body. "They have 3 main weaknesses. Their nerve centers are close to the surface here, here, and here. Their armor does not bend well at these joints, and their eyes, while good at seeing movement, cannot track something moving through deep shadow." Taman studied the scroll. "Their fighters are 3 times stronger than humans. Strength is not everything," Master Sunwoo said. "The oak tree falls in the storm while the bamboo bends and survives." The masters talked long into the night. They watched videos of the alien fights. They studied every move, every technique. The aliens were strong and fast, but they were also predictable. They relied on the same moves that had worked for them on other planets. "They do not adapt," Master Hyojin said. "They do not need to. They have never had to change their ways." "Then that is where we will beat them," Taemin said. "Humans have always had to adapt. It is how we survived on Earth against bigger, stronger animals. It is how we have survived against each other." For the next week, Taemin trained harder than he ever had before. In the mornings, he practiced moving through shadows, becoming almost invisible. In the afternoons, he practiced striking the exact points that would affect the alien bodies the most. At night, he meditated, making his mind calm and clear. On the 7th day, Master Sunwoo called him to the temple garden. "You want to represent Earth in the combat ring," the old master said. "Yes," Taemin answered. "I believe I can win." "Why you? Why not Jin Ho or one of the other masters?" Taemin thought carefully before answering. "Because I have lived in both worlds. I know the ways of Gyeombaksa, but I also understand the outside world. I have watched how people react to the aliens. I know what they expect from us." Master Sunwoo picked up a smooth stone from the garden. He handed it to Taemin. "This stone has been in water for 1,000 years. Feel how smooth it is now. The water, which seems soft, has worn away the rough edges. This is the way of Gyeombaksa. We do not oppose greater force, we redirect it, we use it." Taemin held the stone in his palm. "I understand, Master." "Do you? The aliens expect strength to meet strength. They expect us to try to match their power. You must be like water. Find the path of least resistance, use their strength against them." That night, the monastery held a ceremony. Taemin knelt in the center of the hall. The masters gave him their blessing and their wisdom. Master Sunwoo presented him with the black garments of Gyeombaksa. They were simple clothes, nothing special to look at, but they were made to move, without sound, to blend with shadows. "Tomorrow you will go to the world leaders," Master Sunwoo said. "You will offer yourself as Earth's champion." Taemin bowed his head. "I will not fail." "Remember," Master Sunwoo said, "the true warrior's greatest weapon is not his body or his technique, it is his mind." As the sun rose the next morning, Taemin left the monastery. He carried nothing but the clothes he wore and the stone from the garden. In his heart, he carried the hopes of his masters and, though they didn't know it yet, the hopes of all humanity. The United Nations building was surrounded by security. Police, soldiers, and Secret Service agents checked everyone who entered. The Koraks had their own guards too, tall aliens with weapons that hummed with strange energy. Taemin watched from across the street. He wore normal clothes now, jeans and a simple jacket. No one would guess he was a master of Gyeombaksa. That was the first lesson he had learned. True power does not need to show itself. He joined the line of people waiting to enter the public viewing area. When it was his turn, he showed the ID card that Master Sunwoo had given him. The guards looked at it, then at him. "Press?" one guard asked. "Which news company?" "Korea Daily," Taemin said. "I'm here to cover the meeting." The guard nodded and let him through. The ID was real, though Taemin had never worked for the newspaper. The monastery had friends in many places. Inside, Taemin took a seat at the back of the room. World leaders sat at a large round table. The alien ambassador stood before them, his gray skin catching the light. "Your time grows short," the ambassador said. You have lost 6 matches. You have only 2 chances left. The president of the United States stood up. We're still preparing our next fighter. We need more time. Time is a luxury you do not have, the ambassador said. Your next match is in 3 days. If you do not provide a fighter, you forfeit. Taemin studied the alien carefully. The ambassador was different from the warriors. He was smaller, but his eyes moved faster. His translator made his words sound flat, but Taemin could sense the tone underneath. The alien was enjoying this. After the meeting, people filed out of the room. Taemin stayed behind. He waited until Jiho Park, the Korean representative, was alone. Excuse me, sir, Taemin said, approaching him. I need to speak with you. Jiho looked tired. If you're a reporter, I have no comment right now. I am not here as a reporter, Taemin said. He pulled out a small wooden token from his pocket. It had the symbol of the monastery carved into it. Jiho's eyes widened. You're from the mountain? Yes, and I have come to offer myself as Earth's next fighter. 2 hours later, Taemin sat in a small conference room. 5 people sat across from him. Jiho, the American president, the Russian prime minister, the Chinese premier, and a woman Taemin didn't recognize. This is Dr. Lee, Jiho said, introducing the woman. She has been studying the alien fighters. She will explain why our fighters have failed. Dr. Lee showed them pictures on a screen. The Orcs warriors have 3 advantages, she said. First, they are genetically engineered for combat. Their muscles are twice as dense as ours. Their bones are reinforced with natural carbon fibers. She clicked to the next image. Second, they have implants that boost their reaction time. They can see and respond faster than any human. Another click. Third, they have been fighting in the Galactic Combat League for hundreds of years. They know all the rules and tricks. The American president looked at Taemin. And you think you can beat them? No offense, young man, but you don't look like a fighter. That is my advantage, Taemin said. The aliens expect another strong man who will try to match their power. They will not expect what I bring. And what exactly do you bring? Asked the Russian prime minister. Gumbaksa, Taemin said. The shadow warrior way. Dr. Lee gasped. The monastery is real? I thought it was just a legend. It is real, Taemin said. For 15 generations we have trained in secret. We have developed techniques that work against stronger opponents. The Chinese premier frowned. If your monastery is so powerful, why have you hidden all this time? Why not help the world before now? Our ways are not for show, Taemin explained. We do not seek fame or power. We train to protect, to serve when truly needed. This is such a time. The leaders talked among themselves. Taemin waited patiently. This was not his decision to make. He had offered himself. Now they must decide. Finally, Jiho turned to him. We will give you a chance. But first, you must show us what you can do. The testing room was large and empty. Men in white coats set up cameras and sensors around the edges. Dr. Lee stood with a tablet making notes. We need to measure your strength, speed, and reflexes, she told Taemin. We need to know if you have any chance against the Orcs. Taemin nodded. He wore the simple black clothes of Gumbaksa now. They felt right, like coming home. First, the strength test, Dr. Lee said. She pointed to a machine. Hit this as hard as you can. Taemin approached the machine. The scientists watched, ready with their instruments. He took a deep breath, then struck the pad. The numbers on the screen were low, much lower than the professional fighters who had tried before. That's not very impressive, Dr. Lee said, frowning. Strength alone is not my way, Taemin said. Let me show you something else. He asked for 6 men to try to grab him. The scientists looked confused, but called in security guards. The men circled Taemin. They were big, trained fighters themselves. Try to hold me down, Taemin told them. The men rushed forward. What happened next made the scientists gasp. Taemin seemed to flow like water between the men. He never blocked their hands directly. Instead, He moved just enough that their own momentum carried them past him. Within seconds, all 6 men were on the floor, confused about how they got there. "This is Gyeongboksa," Taemin explained. "We do not meet force with force. We redirect it." Dr. Lee made more notes. "Impressive, but the Koraks are much faster than humans." "Then let's test that too," Taemin said. The next test involved lights that would flash randomly. Taemin had to touch them as fast as possible. His results were good, but still not as fast as the alien warriors. "Your physical abilities are above average," Dr. Lee concluded, "but still not enough to beat the Koraks." Taemin nodded. "There's one more thing I want to show you. Turn off the lights, please." Dr. Lee hesitated, then ordered the lights switched off. The room became dark, with only the glow of computer screens around the edges. "Now everyone find me," Taemin said. They heard his voice, but when they looked where he should be, he wasn't there. Guards turned on flashlights. They swept the room, but Taemin had vanished. "Where did he go?" the guards asked, confused. "I'm still here." Taemin's voice came from the darkness. "I haven't left the room." For 5 minutes they searched. They used thermal cameras that should detect body heat. They used motion sensors. Nothing found him. Then the lights came back on. Taemin stood in the center of the room, exactly where he had started. "How did you do that?" Dr. Lee asked, amazed. "The shadows are my allies," Taemin said. "The Koraks rely on their technology and their enhanced senses. But there are ways to move that no sensor can detect, no eye can follow." Jiho, who had been watching from the side, stepped forward. "I've seen enough. Taemin will be Earth's next champion." That night, Taemin meditated in the small room they had given him. Tomorrow, he would face the Koraks warrior in the arena. He thought about Master Sunwoo's teachings. "The true warrior fights not with his body, but with his mind," Sunwoo had told him. "Know yourself, know your enemy. Then, victory is certain." Taemin held the smooth stone from the garden. It had been shaped by water, the softest thing in nature, yet water could wear away mountains given enough time. "I am the water," Taemin whispered to himself. "I will find the path." Outside his window, the alien mothership glowed in the night sky. Somewhere on that ship, his opponent was preparing too. The Koraks warrior would be strong, fast, and confident. He would expect an easy victory like all the others. Taemin smiled in the darkness. Tomorrow, the aliens would learn that humans still had secrets to share. The morning of the fight came with a red sunrise. People around the world woke up early to watch. This might be one of Earth's last chances. Taemin ate a simple breakfast of rice and vegetables. He drank green tea that Master Sunwoo had sent him. As he ate, he watched videos of the previous fights. 6 Earth champions had tried. 6 had failed. Dr. Lee entered his room with a worried look. "The Koraks have announced your opponent," she said. "It's bad news." She showed him a picture on her tablet. The alien was huge, even for a Koraks. His gray skin had red markings that looked like flames. The translator gave his name as Krav the Destroyer. "He has fought in 37 matches across 12 planets," Dr. Lee explained. "He has never lost." Taemin studied the picture calmly. "He is strong," he said, "but look at his eyes." Dr. Lee looked closer. "What about them?" "They are full of pride," Taemin said. "He has never tasted defeat, so he does not respect his opponents. This is a weakness we can use." A knock came at the door. Jiho entered with a group of scientists. "It's time for your final preparations," he said. "These people want to give you some advantages." The scientists showed Taemin special armor they had made. It was thin but strong. They offered him drugs that would make him stronger and faster for a few hours. They had weapons that might work against the alien's tough skin. Taemin shook his head. "Thank you, but no. I will fight as I have trained." "But you'll die," one scientist said. "The last fighter lasted only 3 minutes." "The last fighter tried to match the Koraks at their own game," Taemin said. "I will play a different game." Jiho looked worried but nodded. "It's your choice. The transport leaves in 1 hour." When they were alone again, Dr. Lee asked, "Aren't you afraid?" Taemin thought about this. "Yes," he said, "but fear is normal. The warrior who feels no fear is already defeated. True courage is feeling fear but acting anyway." The Korax had built a special arena for the fights. It floated above the city, a giant ring of metal and lights. Special ships took people up to watch. The seats were full. Humans and aliens from many worlds had come to see the match. In the preparation room, Taemin changed into his black Gyeongboksa clothes. They were simple, with no marks or decorations. He wrapped black cloth around his hands and feet. He carried no weapons. Jiho watched him with concern. "The Korax ambassador has been talking to the crowd. He says this will be the quickest fight yet." Taemin nodded. "Let him talk. Words are wind." A loud sound came over the speakers. It was time. Jiho put his hand on Taemin's shoulder. "Good. Luck. The whole world is watching." "I do not fight for glory," Taemin said. "I fight for Earth." He walked out into the bright lights of the arena. The crowd went quiet. They had expected another big fighter, maybe a soldier or a boxer. Instead, they saw a normal-sized man in simple black clothes. The alien side of the crowd made that clicking sound, their way of laughing. Even some humans looked disappointed. They had hoped for someone impressive, someone who looked like he could win. The Korax ambassador stood in the center of the arena. "Humans," his voice boomed through the speakers. "Is this a joke? Is this your champion?" Jiho stepped forward with a microphone. "This is Taemin Kim, master of Gyeongboksa. He will represent Earth today." "Very well," the ambassador said. "And now, the champion of the Korax Empire, the undefeated warrior of 12 worlds, Krav the Destroyer." The far door opened. A huge shape filled it. Krav was even bigger in person. He stood 3 meters tall. His arms were as thick as tree trunks. He wore armor that glowed with energy. In one hand he carried a weapon that looked like a mix between a sword and an axe. Krav stomped into the arena. The ground shook with each step. He looked down at Taemin and made the clicking sound. Then he turned to the crowd and raised his weapon. The alien spectators cheered. The ambassador moved to the side. "The rules are simple. The fight continues, until one fighter cannot continue or surrenders or," he paused for effect, "dies." Taemin and Krav stood 10 meters apart. A force field went up around the arena, protecting the crowd. The ambassador raised his hand. "Begin!" Krav charged forward like a bull. His weapon swung in a wide arc that would cut Taemin in half if it hit. The crowd gasped, but Taemin wasn't there anymore. He had moved just enough to let the weapon pass by. He did not strike back. He simply waited. Krav looked confused. He turned and attacked again, faster this time. Again, Taemin moved just enough to avoid the blow. Like water flowing around a rock, he seemed to be exactly where the weapon wasn't. "Fight. Back, coward!" Krav shouted, his translator making the words sound rough. Taemin remained calm. He studied Krav's movements. Each attack showed him more about how the alien fought. Krav was strong, but he followed patterns. His training relied on power and speed, not creativity. After several minutes of this, the crowd grew restless. They had expected a quick, violent fight. Instead, they watched as the humans simply avoided being hit. The Korax ambassador looked annoyed. "Your human is only delaying the inevitable," he said to Jiho. "He is following his training," Jiho replied. "Watch and learn." Krav was getting angry now. His attacks became wilder, less controlled. He swung his weapon so hard that when it missed, he nearly fell over. Sweat covered his gray skin, making the red markings look like they were melting. "Stand. Still and fight," Krav roared. Taemin spoke for the first time since entering the arena. "Why? So you can use your strength against me? I choose a different way." This made Krav even angrier. He pressed a button on his armor. It hummed louder as it boosted his power. He moved faster now, his weapon a blur in the air. The crowd held their breath. But something strange was happening. Even as Krav moved faster, Timon seemed to know where the attacks would go before they happened. He moved earlier, staying just out of reach. Impossible, the ambassador muttered. No human has reflexes that fast. Dr. Lee, watching from the side, understood. It's not about reflexes, she said. He's reading Krav's body language. He knows what Krav will do before Krav does it. 10 minutes into the fight, Krav was breathing hard. His attacks had hit nothing but air. His armor was using a lot of power to keep his speed up. And still, the human had not thrown a single punch or kick. "Fight me!" Krav screamed in frustration. Timon stopped moving. He stood still, his hands at his sides. "Very well. Now I will fight." Krav raised his weapon high, ready to bring it down on Timon's head. It would be a killing blow. But as the weapon started to fall, something impossible happened. Timon disappeared. The crowd gasped. Krav's weapon hit empty ground. The alien warrior looked around in confusion. Where did he go? A soft voice came from behind him. "I am here." Before Krav could turn, Timon struck. His fingers hit exact points on Krav's back, points where the alien's nerve clusters were close to the surface. The giant warrior's right arm went numb. His weapon fell from fingers that could no longer hold it. Timon disappeared again before Krav could grab him with his left hand. The crowd was silent now, watching in amazement. The human appeared again, this time at Krav's side. 2 more quick strikes and Krav's left leg buckled. The Orcs warrior fell to one knee, his balance gone. "What is this?" Krav growled. "What are you doing to me?" "I am showing you that strength is not everything," Timon said. "Knowledge is power too." The fight had changed completely. Now it was Timon who attacked, appearing from nowhere, striking critical points, then vanishing again. Each blow seemed small, almost gentle, but each one shut down another part of Krav's body. In the stands, the Orcs ambassador turned to his assistants. "How is he disappearing from our sensors? Even our thermal tracking cannot find him." No one had an answer. They had never seen anything like this before. After 20 minutes, the mighty Krav lay on the ground. He could barely move. His armor had shut down. His body was not damaged, but nothing worked right anymore. The nerve strikes had turned his own system against him. Timon stood over him, still calm, still relaxed. He had not even broken a sweat. "Do you surrender?" he asked quietly. Krav tried to get up, but could not. He had never lost before. He did not know how to surrender, but he could not fight anymore. "I cannot continue," he finally said. The arena went completely silent. Then the human side of the crowd exploded with cheers. Earth had won its first match. The ambassador could not believe what he had seen. As Timon walked calmly toward the exit, the ambassador called after him. "This is not over, human. You may have won today, but we have many warriors. The next one will be ready for your tricks." Timon paused and looked back. "Good," he said, with a small smile. "Then it will be a more interesting fight." News of Timon's victory spread across Earth like wildfire. People celebrated in the streets. For the first time since the Orcs arrived, humans felt hope. In a small room under the arena, Timon sat with his eyes closed. He breathed slowly, letting his body rest. The fight had taken more from him than he showed. Moving through shadows, striking with perfect timing, these things required great focus and energy. The door opened, and Jiho entered with Dr. Lee and several world leaders. "You did it," Jiho said with a big smile. "You won. The first human to defeat a Orcs warrior. It was amazing," Dr. Lee added. "Our sensors couldn't track you when you disappeared. How did you do that?" Timon opened his eyes. "Gyumbaksa teaches us to move between moments, to find the gaps in attention. I didn't truly disappear. I simply moved where the eye and mind do not focus." The American president stepped forward. "Whatever you did, it worked, but the Orcs are angry. They want another fight as soon as possible." "Of course they do," Timon said. They cannot accept defeat easily. Will you fight again? The Russian Prime Minister asked. Taemin nodded. This was always my purpose. One victory is not enough to save Earth. High above in the Korax mothership, the ambassador paced in rage. Screens around him showed the fight from different angles. Each one showed the same thing. Their champion defeated by a human who seemed to appear and disappear at will. Impossible, the ambassador shouted. No human has this ability. They must have used technology we didn't detect. The Korax scientists studied the recordings. There is no evidence of teleportation or cloaking devices, one said. Our scans show nothing unusual. Then how did he do it? The ambassador demanded. We do not know, the scientist admitted. This fighting style is not in our records of Earth combat techniques. The ambassador turned to his military commander. Prepare our next warrior. Not just any warrior. Bring in Drex the Ultimate. He has never known defeat in 62 matches. Drex is on our homeworld, the commander said. It will take 2 days for him to arrive. Then he has 2 days to study this human's techniques, the ambassador said. Drex will crush him and remind Earth of its place in the galaxy. Back on Earth, Taemin sat in the garden of the Korean embassy. The night air was cool on his skin. Stars shone above, but they were dimmed by the lights of the city and the glow of the alien ships. Dr. Lee found him there. She carried a tablet with new information. The Korax have announced their next champion, she said. His name is Drex the Ultimate. He's their best warrior. She showed Taemin the pictures and videos. Drex was different from Krav. He was not as big, but he moved, with more control. His armor was lighter, built for speed rather than power. His weapons were 2 short blades that could cut through almost anything. He has fought 62 matches and won them all, Dr. Lee said. Many of his opponents died. Taemin studied the videos carefully. He is skilled, he said. He has faced many different fighting styles. He adapts quickly. Can you beat him? Dr. Lee asked. I don't know, Taemin answered honestly. But I will try. Dr. Lee sat beside him. I've been studying your fighting style. It's amazing. You hit Krav in exactly the right places to shut down his nervous system. How did you know where to strike? Master Sunwoo studied the videos of the earlier fights. He mapped the Korax body system. We have been preparing for this since the aliens first arrived. Your monastery seems to know a lot about aliens, Dr. Lee said. Almost as if you were expecting them. Taemin smiled slightly. There is a story in our order. Hundreds of years ago, the first master had a vision. He saw beings from the stars coming to Earth. He began Gyeongboksa to prepare for that day. You believe this? I believe in being prepared, Taemin said. The methods work. That is what matters. The next day, Taemin trained in a special room the government had prepared for him. It was dark, with obstacles placed randomly. He moved through the space, practicing the ways of shadow. Jiho watched from the side with world leaders and military commanders. We should learn his techniques, one general said. Train more fighters like him. It takes years to master Gyeongboksa, Jiho explained. And not everyone can learn it. The mind must be right. Then we need other advantages, the general insisted. Our scientists have developed new weapons that might work against the Korax. Taemin heard them talking. He stopped his practice and approached. Weapons are not the answer, he said. The Korax have better weapons than we ever will. We must find different paths to victory. But surely some technology would help you, the general argued. Even a small advantage could make the difference. Taemin thought about this. There is one thing that might help. Not a weapon, but better understanding. He turned to Dr. Lee. Can your computers analyze the videos of Drex's fights? Can they find patterns in how he moves, how he thinks, Doctor? Lee nodded. Yes, we have AI systems that can do that. What are you looking for? Habits, Taemin said. Everyone has them, even the best warriors. Small movements they make before attacking. Ways they respond to certain threats. If I can see these patterns, I can use them. For the rest of the day, Taemin watched the computer analysis of Drex's fights. The AI found subtle patterns. Drex always shifted his weight slightly before a low attack. His left eye twitched before he used his speed burst. When surprised, he always went right, never left. Small things, but to a master of Gumbaksa, they were like a map of the alien's mind. The night before the second fight, Taemin received a visitor. Master Sunwoo had come from the monastery. The old master looked tired from the journey, but his eyes were clear and sharp. They sat together in Taemin's room, drinking tea in silence for several minutes. Finally, Sunwoo spoke. "You fought well. Against Krav," he said. "But Drex is different. He is not just strong, he is clever." "I know," Taemin said. "I have studied him." "Good. But remember, the cleverest opponent can still be surprised." Master Sunwoo reached into his robe and pulled out a small pouch. "This is moon dust from the sacred cave. It may help you tomorrow." Taemin took the pouch with respect. Inside was a fine powder that seemed to shine slightly in the dim light. It was not magic, but a mixture of minerals from a special cave near the monastery. When thrown in the air, it caught light in ways that confused the eye. "Thank you, Master," Taemin said. "I will use it wisely." "The monastery is proud of you," Sunwoo said. "But do not let pride enter your own heart. That is how warriors fall." "I understand," Taemin said. "I fight not for glory, but for Earth." Master Sunwoo nodded. "There is one more thing you should know. The Orcs are not just fighting for sport or conquest. They are afraid." "Afraid? Of humans, how can that be? They have ruled their part of the galaxy for thousands of years. They have found many worlds, many species. But humans are different. We adapt faster than any species they have encountered. We learn and change quickly. This scares them." Taemin thought about this. "So this contest is not just about proving our worth." "No," Master Sunwoo said. "It is about showing the Orcs that they should fear us too. Not because we are violent, but because we are unpredictable. We find solutions they cannot imagine." As the sun rose the next morning, Taemin prepared himself for the fight. He wore the black clothes of Gyumbaksa. He carried the pouch of moon dust, and he carried the knowledge that he fought not just for Earth's freedom, but for its future among the stars. The arena waited. The crowd was larger now. Word had spread across the galaxy about the human who could vanish in shadow. Everyone wanted to see if it was true, or if Drex the Ultimate would put the humans back in their place. Taemin walked toward the light, his face calm. Whatever happened today would change Earth's path forever. He was ready. The arena was silent as Taemin entered. This time there were no laughs from the alien side. They watched him with careful eyes. The human who could vanish was now a known threat. Taemin stood in the center, his black clothes simple and plain. He looked small in the huge space, but his eyes were calm and focused. The announcer's voice boomed, presenting the champion of Earth, Taemin Kim, master of Gyeongbaksa. Now the human side of the crowd cheered. They waved flags and shouted his name. One victory had given them something they had lost: hope. And now, the announcer continued, the champion of the Korax Empire, undefeated in 62 matches across 7 galaxies, Drex the Ultimate. The far door opened. A tall figure walked out slowly. Drex was not as big as Krav had been, but he moved with the smooth grace of a true fighter. His armor was sleek and black, designed for speed. He carried 2 short blades that glowed with energy. Drex approached the center and looked at Taemin. His alien face showed no emotion that humans could read, but he bowed slightly. It was a sign of respect that surprised everyone. "I have studied your fight with Krav," Drex said through his translator. "You are skilled. It will be an honor to defeat you." Taemin returned the bow. "We shall see who learns more from whom." The force field went up around the arena. The announcer called, "Begin!" Unlike Krav, Drex did not rush forward. He circled slowly, watching Taemin's every move. This was a patient predator, not a raging bull. Taemin also moved carefully. The 2 fighters circled each other, each looking for the smallest weakness. In the stands, Dr. Lee whispered to Jiho, "Drex won't fall for the same tricks. He's been studying Taemin's techniques." Then Taman must find new ways. Jiho replied. Drex made the first move. He feinted left, then attacked right with blinding speed. His blade sliced through the air where Taman had been a split second before. Taman had moved just enough to avoid the blade. He did not counterattack. He continued to study his opponent. Drex tried again, a series of quick strikes that forced Taman to move faster. One blade came within a breath of Taman's chest. The crowd gasped. He's faster than Krav, Dr. Lee said. Much faster. For several minutes, this dance continued. Drex attacked with perfect control, never overextending, never losing balance. Taman avoided each strike, but he was being forced to work harder. Then Drex did something unexpected. He threw one of his blades directly at Taman's feet. As Taman moved to avoid it, Drex was already attacking from the other side. This time the blade caught Taman's sleeve, tearing the black fabric. A thin line of red appeared on his arm. First blood. The Korak side of the crowd cheered. The ambassador smiled. This was more like what they expected. Taman touched his arm. The cut was small, but it proved that Drex was different from Krav. This opponent would not be defeated by patience alone. Drex retrieved his thrown blade. You cannot only avoid forever, he said. At some point you must attack. Taman nodded. You are right. Then he disappeared. Drex was ready for this. His armor had been upgraded with new sensors. He spun around, blades ready, tracking subtle changes in the air. But Taman wasn't behind him. He wasn't anywhere visible. Drex's sensors beeped. Something was above. He looked up just in time to see Taman dropping from the air. The human had somehow climbed one of the arena pillars. Drex raised his blades to block, but Taman wasn't, aiming for a direct attack. As he fell past Drex, his fingers struck 3 precise points on the alien's neck. Drex's right arm suddenly felt heavy. The nerve strike had partially worked, but not completely. Drex's armor had protected him somewhat. Clever, Drex said. But my armor has been designed to resist your pressure point attacks. Taman landed softly and turned to face Drex again. Then I must find another way. The fight changed then. Taman began to attack more, looking for gaps in Drex's defense. Drex countered with perfect technique. The two fighters moved in a blur of strikes and blocks. In the stands, even the alien spectators were impressed. The human was fighting at a level they had not thought possible. But Drex was still stronger and faster. His armor gave him advantages that Taman could not match. Slowly, the tide of the fight turned. Taman received another small cut, then another. He's losing, Dr. Lee said with worry. Drex has adapted to his style. Jiho watched closely. Not yet. Taman still has something left. Look at his eyes. Taman's face showed no fear, no worry. Though he was bleeding from several small cuts, his breathing remained controlled. He was still learning, still adapting. After 15 minutes of fighting, Taman jumped back to create space. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the small pouch Master Sunwoo had given him. A weapon? Drex asked, raising his blades. No, Taman said. Just a different perspective. He threw the moon dust into the air above them. The fine powder caught the light, creating strange patterns. Drex's sensors tried to track the particles, creating a flood of data that confused his systems. In that moment of confusion, Taman disappeared again. But this time, he used a technique he had saved until now. The shadows around him seemed to multiply and move. Where there had been one Taman, there now appeared to be many. Shadow clones, Master Sunwoo whispered from his seat. The highest technique of Gyumbaksa. Drex spun around, his blades cutting through shadow figures that vanished at his touch. His sensors could not tell which was real. Impossible, he shouted. The real Taman moved within the confusion. He struck Drex's armor at key points. Not the nerve centers that were now protected, but the power junctions of the armor itself. Drex felt his systems failing. His armor's power flickered. The strength enhancement weakened. The sensors gave false readings. What are you doing to me? Drex demanded. Taman's voice seemed to come from everywhere. I am showing you that technology has weaknesses too. Your armor is your strength, but also your weakness. With each precise strike, another system in Drex's armor failed. The alien fighter was still strong and skilled, but now he fought on more equal terms. The battle continued for another 10 minutes. Drex fought with all his skill, but without his armor's full power, he could not keep up with Tayman's shadow techniques. Finally, Tayman saw his chance. Drex made a small mistake. Tiny shift of weight that the AI analysis had predicted. In that moment, Tayman struck 3 points simultaneously, one on Drex's neck, one on his chest, and one behind his knee. The mighty alien warrior fell to the ground. His body would not respond to his commands. His armor had shut down completely. Tayman stood over him, breathing hard but still standing. Blood stained his black clothes from the cuts he had received, but none were serious. "Do you yield?" Tayman asked. Drex looked up at the human who had defeated him. In 62 matches, no one had ever done this. "I yield," he said with dignity. "You have won fairly." The arena erupted in cheers. Humans hugged each other, cried, and shouted with joy. Earth had won again. The Orcs would have to respect the terms of their agreement. The ambassador walked to the center of the arena. His face showed shock and confusion. "This is unprecedented," he said. "No species has ever won 2 matches against our champions." Jiho joined them in the center. "Then perhaps it is time to reconsider how you judge other species," he said. "Strength is not everything. Humans have other gifts." The ambassador looked at Tayman, who stood quietly despite his victory. "What is this power you have?" he asked. "How do you move through shadows? How do you know where to strike?" "It is not power," Tayman explained. "It is knowledge and practice. For thousands of years, humans have developed ways to overcome stronger opponents. We had to survive on our planet. But these techniques," the ambassador insisted, "they should not work against our biology." "The universe follows patterns," Tayman said. "Your bodies are different from ours, but the principles are the same. Energy flows in patterns. Nerves connect in patterns. Once you see the pattern, you can work with it." The ambassador was silent for a long moment. Then he made a decision. "The Orcs Empire acknowledges Earth's victories. According to our agreement, Earth will not be colonized. Instead, we offer a place in the Galactic Alliance. As equals." The human crowd cheered again. It was more than they had hoped for. "And," the ambassador continued, looking at Tayman, "we request that these Gumbaksa techniques be shared with the galaxy. Such knowledge could benefit many worlds." Tayman looked at Master Sunwoo, who had joined them. The old master nodded, slightly. "We would be honored to share our knowledge," Tayman said. "But true learning takes time and patience. There are no shortcuts." As the sun set on the arena, Earth celebrated its new place in the galaxy. The Orcs ships would remain, but now as allies, not conquerors. And in the quiet of the night, Tayman returned to the monastery in the mountains. There would be new students coming soon, not just humans but beings from across the stars, all seeking to learn the way of shadow and light. Master Sunwoo met him at the gate. "You have changed the path of humanity," the old master said. Tayman bowed. "I only followed the path you showed me." "And now that path extends to the stars," Sunwoo said with a smile. "The first master's vision is fulfilled." Together they walked into the monastery. There was much work to do. A new chapter in Earth's story had begun.